What I should title this video is how I lost $40,000 in total commissions from 2 different houses. So I had this one client and I had promised them we would make a certain amount of money, and we didn't, because the first 6 months that I was in real estate, prices kept going up and up and up. So it was real easy for me to predict the exact amount of money that they were gonna make, because it was so easy to look at the other comps and other houses that were selling for the same price and say, yep, you're gonna make this much, and you use me and pay me this much because you're gonna make this much. But that's when the market shifted and started going down. And then I looked like an idiot because I had promised this much and didn't even get them this much. And so I looked like a moron, they dropped me, and then they ended up selling it by themselves. What I learned from that is that I don't have a crystal ball. Real estate agents don't have a crystal ball. No matter how good the comps look, the market can turn at literally any point. We can't just say, yep, this is how much you're gonna make. We can say, hey, depending on the market right now, this is what the market is suggesting, but I'm not the market. The market is out there. I'll go find the market and bring you the market to your house. And since I've implemented that lesson into my other listings, my other clients, and I've been a lot more casual saying, hey, this is what we're gonna do our best to get. This is what I think the market's gonna bring in. The pressure's been taken off of me. So I'm detached from the result. Now that doesn't mean I don't do the actions every single day to get them the house price that they want, or do everything I can to market it the best way I can, or negotiate as hard as I can. Ultimately, if I had already learned that lesson with them, I could have told them that up front, and then they would have still used me and sold their house through me. And then I would not have looked like an idiot, and they would have looked well informed, and I would have looked well informed, and we all would have made money and sold their house. But that didn't happen, and I lost a $24,000 commission check, and that's nowhere to be found. If you're a fan or want to talk about business, I'm available every Monday through Friday at 10 to 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Click the link below down in the description. Let's get back into it. Another big mistake that I made in my first year of real estate was that I started cold calling and started generating my own leads. But when I got my first big lead and my second big lead, I would just nurture the leads, baby leads. I would feed the leads, put the leads to bed, wake them up, take them to school. These leads, oh, precious leads. But I would just nurture these too. Meanwhile, if I just kept cold calling, kept door knocking, kept trying to find more, I would have 500 leads. And out of those 500, I could pick my favorite 50. And out of those 50, I would have 5 that I work with. But because I just stuck with these 2 and hope that these leads choose me and I just keep taking care of them, then when they did not use me, which neither of them did, then I was devastated. I was like, but imagine all I did was just keep on a follow-up system and then continue to fill my pipeline with more and more and more leads. Then they would just slowly trickle out and I would use the leads that I have that want to use me. So the biggest takeaway that I had from this lesson was that I can never stop prospecting. Never. There will be a time and point in my life where I've built up such a big book of business that all I get is referrals, and referrals are nonstop. But even then, I don't expect to stop prospecting, because if I'm getting easy leads, I can still pick my favorite leads and refer out the ones I don't want and continue to prospect for really good leads. So ultimately, the solution was to just never stop prospecting. Keep cold calling, keep door knocking, always leave time for it. Another huge mistake in the first year was actually the exact opposite of this problem, where the last problem I had 2 leads and I just nurtured them. The other problem is I had thousands. I was really getting really good at cold calling, and I had so many leads. I had gotten all these leads, converted them, got them on the market, and we were starting to close. And then I said, oh crap, I have nothing in my pipeline. So after these close, nothing is coming. And that's exactly what happened. So I had started here with no leads, gotten super busy with a lot of leads, got them on the market, and then they're all starting to close, and now I'm back down at square one. And then I was like, holy crap, what do I do? And real estate's a very funny profession, because if I meet you today, on average, I'm not getting paid for 90 to 120 days. So when I got down to that 0.0 and I was like, oh crap, well then my 90-day counter started over again, because I had to go get the people, build a good relationship for 30 days, let it sit on the market for 30 days, and then 30 days for it to close. So there was a period of time, and I just got out of that period of time where it was nothing, no closings, nothing. So I met with a mentor, and this is where my whole business changed. I started to time block my morning. For every single morning, I have prospecting blocks. Every single morning, Monday through Friday, I have to keep looking for business, because the second I stop advertising and telling people I exist, people forget. And remember, I'm not to the point where I have tons of referrals coming in. So the only way to continue to scale my business is to set time aside every single morning to keep looking for business. And then the rest of my day is spent trying to sell the houses I have on the market. So if that means I have to work longer hours, longer days, that's perfectly fine. But I'm in that period of time where Alex Hormozi calls it more better. I figured out how to get leads. I figured out how to convert them. I figured out how to get them on the market and sell them, but I just had to do more and get better at it. And so until then, it's just this disgusting grind of wake up, get some leads, convert the leads, get them on the market, sell them, and that's just where I'm at. And I freaking love it. But it's just continue. Because the mistake I did make was I got the leads, sold them, and then they closed, and I'm like back down to 0-1. And so if I had never addressed that problem, this would be my consistent business. It'd be very cyclical. So in order to fight that cyclical type shape is to always be prospecting. So I just keep going up and up and up. And if that means I get so busy that I have to hire an executive assistant to do all my paperwork for me, to buy myself time, then I'm gonna have to do that. And that's pretty much where I'm at now, where I have so much on the market, and I still need time to sell the houses I have, but I still have to set time aside to do prospecting, but I have to do all this administrative work. What I'm actually gonna have to end up doing is buying someone else's time to do all the administrative work for me, so that time does not take away from my time to go look for more business, so I can continue this steady flow. Because right now I've gotten so much business where it's this huge mound where now I literally don't have time to prospect, and the only way I'm gonna be able to prospect is to pay someone to take time off of my plate so I can fill in that time with more prospecting time to keep growing my business. Another huge mistake I made, now this one is bringing up like PTSD. I don't even want to talk about it, but I said I was, so now I am. I had got this client, I had signed him up for this one package. This package was like, I pay for your pressure washing, your junk removal, your home cleaning, and your landscaping. And then they paid me more money. So I was like perfectly fine with that, it doesn't matter. So I had fronted them the cost of all those services. And so on the very first time, the pressure washing, she had told me how important it was that we get on the market on this date, whatever that date was. So I had scheduled my whole time to make sure we are on that date. Like she had discussed how important it was and why it was important and all this. So I was like, okay, I'll do anything I can. I had scheduled the pressure washing for this Monday before photos, because obviously you wanted to look clean before photos. There was no other time that my pressure washer or any other pressure washer, I called 6, half of them didn't answer and the other 3 were already booked, that could get this time slot. So it was like a Monday night at like 7. And so it was so stupid. I felt so dumb. So I texted her that morning. I said, hey, my pressure washer has this 7 o'clock time slot open. We'll probably be out there till late. I'm literally gonna have to help him. So I actually suited up to help him pressure wash because that was the only time he had available. And so she never replied, and I still went to pressure wash because I was like, we got to get on the market. So I door knock her home and I say, hey, we're here to pressure wash. And she's like, okay, like that's like weird, but okay. Then after we finished, my pressure washer sprayed this like chemical on the concrete so that some of the deep cleaning stuff could come up. I don't know what it is. I'm not in the pressure washing field. So he sprays it. And so then I go to tell her, knock on the door and say, hey, the pressure washer sprayed this stuff. Don't take your dogs out. Just for tonight, take them out in the morning because it'll burn their paws. And no kidding, by the time I get home, she's blowing up my phone telling me how bad of a businessman I am, how unprofessional I am that I would show up that late. And like, it never occurred in my brain. I was like, yeah, you know, that is super messed up. I just showed up and said, hey, we're gonna pressure wash. And then she couldn't take her dogs out and their dogs had to go out. I didn't warn her before. Like, it was so bad. That was the worst mistake I had probably made. And so I went from this really big contract, I was gonna make a lot of money from it, to like nothing, and she had dropped me and went with someone else. And that was the worst experience I had, and it was completely my fault and not hers. And I'm glad she called me out on it, and I'm glad she was as firm she was, because if not, I probably would have done it to someone else. No matter how important a timeline is, follow up, make sure they're okay with it. And if they don't answer their phone, that's okay, that's on them. Then you could say, hey, you didn't answer your phone, that's why I did not show up to pressure wash your house, instead of, hey, you didn't answer your phone and I'm showing up anyways, and I'm in a pressure washer house anyways. It's like when I look back at it now, it's like, okay, that was kind of ignorant, but whatever. The big takeaway from that lesson was to just make sure me and my clients have awesome communication and are on a great timeline. Like at the listing appointment, we will go over their timeline. If we're gonna do pressure washing and all the other stuff, this is the days, this is when you're available, this is when you're okay. If they can't show up on these days, then we have to push the listing back. As long as you're okay with that, we'll get it done. Just a lot more communication and taking me out of the process, letting them schedule the pressure washing instead of me showing up their door knocking, because then I'm the bad guy, which I was anyways. But I'm saying next time, I'm just saying, hey, you schedule them, you let them know whenever you're available so that they can work on your timeline. And I stay out of the picture. I help them as much as I can. I help the pressure washer, help my client. But if something happens on the communication side, or they spray chemicals and their dogs can't go out, then it's like, hey, that wasn't me. So that was a $16,000 commission check drained. What I should title this video is how I lost $40,000 in total commissions from 2 different houses. And I made a ton of other like little mistakes, but those are like my really big mistakes that are gonna be worth noting. And so anyways, my name's Tristan. Please subscribe, it actually helps. And I'll see y'all.